Well, the Drake Bulldogs now know who they'll be playing and where their first round of the NCAA tournament will be. They'll face the Missouri Tigers in Wichita this Thursday. Local 5's Alex Fulton explains why fans believe the Bulldogs can rewrite history.
Drake fans are pumped up to play the Missouri Tigers.
Let's go Bulldogs!
Hundreds took to the Knapp Center to find out who they'll play, when, and where for the first round of the NCAA tournament.
I mean, I think we can definitely win it. I mean, we beat, obviously, two power teams earlier in the season in Kansas and Vanderbilt.
This marks Drake's third consecutive appearance in the tournament. For both of the previous years, they lost the first round.
Obviously, we've had some success the last few years, and even greater this year. We're really excited about this team.
The team has defied the odds all season long.
It's just been great with a new coach and all new players, so very enjoyable.
This year, the team of young players and a brand new coach took home the Missouri Valley Conference Championship trophy.
You know, the whole MVC tournament was exciting. To make it a three-peat, to be able to win that for the third year in a row was really exciting.
That's exactly why fans believe this time around, the first round in Wichita will be different.
And to get the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, I think they probably feel the same way. We don't care who we play, they're going to go out there and play their hearts out.
Most of the fans I talked with say they don't plan on making the 5-hour drive to Wichita. They'll still be rooting for the Bulldogs, though, from the comfort of their own homes. From the Knapp Center, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
Happy Holi! Happy Holi is beautiful temple is celebrating last 20 years this celebrations. Once a year is color festival. We call Holi. We celebrate the Holi celebration because Lord Vishnu saved a devotee. This celebration means our life, any obstacles in our community and country, any problems, we burn everything in this fire. That is the signification. And after victory, you know, people, they celebrate the festival. Thank you. Happy Holi. In India, any religious services, any happiness, we put the color each other, different colors. That means no differences between the community and family and everything, all the equal positions.
Well, we start tonight with news from the State House. The Iowa House passed a bill that could soon give teenagers less freedom to use tanning beds in Iowa. Our Connor O'Neill shares what you need to know.
State representatives say Iowa has a cancer problem it needs to address, and this bill could be a part of the solution. Passing the House on Monday, lawmakers advanced a bill that would ban anyone under 18 years old from using an indoor tanning device at a tanning facility unless a parent has given written consent.
You can actually say, yes, my son or daughter can go to these tanning salons, but maybe just for 5 days before we go to prom or before we go on vacation. So the parent has the ability to turn it on and turn it off in the safety of their child. It's their choice as a parent.
The House brought up the bill because it argued that indoor tanning could be a cause for melanoma, a type of skin cancer, and add ultraviolet radiation light is most dangerous when exposed at a young age. Lawmakers also want to follow other states' paths on this issue.
Second highest rates of cancer, only state with a growing cancer rate. Fifth highest rates of melanoma. 1,600 new melanomas per year. We are one of only 6 states without any restrictions on this issue.
At this moment, 44 states in some way restrict a minor's ability to use tanning beds and other devices. Iowa at this moment, though, is not one of them. Anyone found violating this policy would be charged with a fine up to $1,000. With the bill passing through the House on Monday, it now goes over to the Senate for that chamber's consideration and vote. If it advances there, it goes to the governor's desk for her signature. Reporting from the Iowa State Capitol, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
No matter the result for Iowa State in the NCAA tournament, Emily Ryan's legacy on the court has been cemented. Emily Ryan is a Cyclone through and through. When several of her teammates left in 2023, Ryan stayed.
It wouldn't have felt right to be anywhere else, and so
definitely the right decision for me was to be here, and so I'm just glad that I was able to stay here and play for these coaches and had the opportunity to have incredible teammates come in the following years and be able to play with them.
She's left an impact on those new teammates.
When you see your leader doing everything the right way, it's really easy to follow them and just trust them, and that's something that we have. You know, we have a lot of trust in her, and yeah, really gonna miss her.
Whenever Iowa State plays their final game of the season, it will most likely be the last of Ryan's playing career.
I think I want to get into coaching right away, and so whether that's a grad assistant role somewhere or honestly, it's just kind of get in where you can and then figure it out from there. And so I'm just going to see what opportunities present itself and take full advantage of them and see where it takes me.
Ryan already has a pretty good reference by playing under one of the most respected coaches in the sport.
I think playing under Coach Finn has set me up for a lot, and so being able to learn from him every single day is something that coming in, I knew I probably wanted to be a coach. So even as a freshman, it was like I'm going to fully embrace everything he says and try to take it all in and try to soak up as much as possible, because that man's forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know.
That coaching career will come. For now, it's about one last ride in the NCAA tournament.
As a kid playing in the NCAA tournament, that's your dream. You are at school trying to watch these on your phone or on a computer, and just to actually be in that opportunity is something that you don't take for granted. And for me, being at my last time, I'm going to take full advantage of it and just soak it all in and try to enjoy all of it.
Well, the push to have no cell phones in the classroom took another step closer to becoming reality today. The House just advanced the governor's proposed bill. It's bipartisan legislation that lawmakers hope will improve student scores and attentiveness. Our Connor O'Neill has the latest from the State House.
The Iowa House passed one of the governor's top legislative priorities on Tuesday that would ban students' cell phones during instructional time in the classroom and require school districts to adopt the Department of Education's minimum standard policy by the start of the next school year. The bill would apply to cell phones and video game devices, but not smartwatches.
I think we all know of the incredible distractions caused by cell phones and other electronic devices. I mean, we all have one, and we are constantly taking them out. Imagine your children doing that all the time. Oh, yep, you do.
The governor proposed the bill because she said cell phones are not only a distraction, but a deterrent to development in the classroom. The legislation also requires 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students to learn about the effects of social media as part of their required health curriculum. One of the issues that lobbyists and legislators have brought up as the bill has made its way through the State House is access to devices during emergencies. This bill states those specifics would be designed by school districts in their safety plans and include how parents could communicate with their child during school hours.
It is my hope that the discussion and the acknowledgement that the proliferation and dependence on electronic and digital devices can and does often come with negative impacts on both adults and children. It's my hope this discussion continues into the future.
The bill is a minimum proposal on cell phone regulations, but districts have the freedom to adopt stricter policies. Reporting from the State House, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
The Drake men's basketball team is having a season that players dream of. For two Bulldog players, it's something they had hopes of accomplishing since their freshman year at Wyoming. Local 5 Sports Director Reina Garcia has the story.
Coming into this season, Drake fielded almost an entirely new roster, mostly consisting of transfers. Two of those transfers were Cale Combs and Cam Maniau, who played together as freshmen at Wyoming, and that's where they formed a friendship that followed them to Drake. Wherever you see one, the other is usually close by. Since becoming teammates and roommates at Wyoming, Cale Combs and Cam Maniau have developed a close friendship on and off the court. When they decided to transfer to Drake, their friendship helped make the transition easier.
To know that someone's going through the same experience that you are, and just to kind of have someone that you can lean on and know that they're going through a new chapter of their life also. So it's been super helpful.
Their first season of college basketball didn't go how they had hoped, but the season they're having at Drake is everything they've ever dreamed of. And experiencing it together makes it that much more special.
We've gotten to see everything out in Wyoming, been to Mount West, didn't have the season that we expected, and then to come here and kind of see how things are done and then really turn it around and go 30-3 and not do too much losing and a whole lot of winning. It's been amazing. And then also to have someone who's going through like the same experiences as you and like knowing how you're feeling has also been great.
A fun fact I learned while doing my research about Cam and Cale is that they actually played against each other in high school in the state semifinals, where Cale's team came out with the win and advanced to the state championship game. Reporting from Wichita, Reina Garcia, Local 5 Sports.
The Iowa House Republicans have advanced several bills that target diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at Iowa's colleges and universities. Democrats say this will hurt all Iowans, while Republicans blame DEI for dividing our nation. Our Connor O'Neill shares what changes could be coming and what lawmakers are asking you to do.
The Iowa Legislative Black Caucus held a press conference Wednesday morning to address why they say the House's 3 advancing bills concerning diversity, equity, and inclusion will have a negative impact on all Iowans, not just Iowans of color.
This isn't about feelings. This is about policy that impacts every single one of us in this state. It will impact us economically. It will impact us culturally. Who wants to come to a state where they say, oh, diversity isn't welcome? Tell me, how much sense does that make?
One of the bills that passed during tense debate Tuesday would force public universities to not require their students to enroll in a DEI course to complete degrees unless a student's course of study is primarily focused on racial, ethnic, or gender studies.
And I would agree with a comment that was made on the floor that diversity enriches our lives. That is 100% true, but not when it is used to divide us. Not when it is used to divide us, which is exactly what DEI programs do.
House Republicans claimed that members of the Black Caucus had not been reaching out to them for conversation on these topics, but the Dems say that's not correct, and after Tuesday's debate, claim Republicans still haven't reached out to them.
I feel like we were thrown under the bus, and I just don't think that that is what we should be doing.
The bills that were passed yesterday will throw us back from progress that we've made as a country, as a state, in the last 60 years.
House Democrats issued a call for action Wednesday as the bills are still making their way through the State House. They also asked constituents to reach out to both Democratic and Republican legislators to express their opinions on this topic. Those bills that passed through the House on Tuesday took hours of debate. Those now move over to the Senate for that chamber's consideration and vote moving forward. Reporting from the Iowa State Capitol, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
No team in this year's NCAA tournament field has their leading scorer come off the bench. That is, except for Iowa State. Curtis Jones was overlooked by most, and now he's one of the best players in the country. No matter what transpires in the first 2.5 minutes of any given game, Iowa State brings in their top weapon.
Kurt Jones is an elite playmaking, scoring guard. It's crazy to just think of, letting the game come to you, coming off the bench and score 24, but he makes it seem like that's a common thing to do, even though nobody else on earth does that.
If you start right away, you're the first one going through everything, defensively, offensively, and if I'm on the bench, I can kind of see what they're doing and make my adjustments before I even get in the game.
Even though Jones doesn't start, he plays starter minutes. Still, it's a sacrifice that most basketball players around the world wouldn't easily make.
Kurt just happens to be the selfless teammate willing to come off the bench and be the sixth starter, and we're really fortunate, with his maturity and how he approaches that.
I'd rather win than, if I had to start and we was losing, I'd rather just be winning.
That selflessness is a huge part of Kurt's unlikely journey. Years ago, Jones was a 155-pound high schooler with 0 D1 or D2 offers.
That wasn't really what people was looking for, and to be honest, I don't know if I was going to be able to come in and make an impact Division I my first year, so I kind of get it.
While Jones was being overlooked, his teammates were getting D1 offers. Trey Holloman, now at Michigan State, and Javon Hadley, now at Louisville, were both getting attention. Curtis stayed true to himself.
Even when he wasn't getting D1 scholarships, I remember him just being really happy genuinely happy for other people. And so that's one of the reasons too, I think, that he's put in the work and he's done his part, that, this is coming back to him as well.
It did come back to Jones. He got a shot right here in Iowa at Indian Hills Community College. From there, he earned a scholarship at Buffalo. After 2 years at Buffalo, Jones got his shot at Iowa State. From not even a Division II offer to an AP All-American, it was improvement every step of the way.
Nah, I wouldn't say I envisioned nothing like this. It just happened, man, over time, day by day.
His main issue was confidence and feeling like, oh my gosh, do I belong here? Don't I belong here? Should I be here? And then once mentally it clicks in like, hey, I'm here, I belong here, I'm good enough, I'm actually a good player, that's when he's able to excel.
Sometimes it was like a surreal moment, and I had to get out of that and just know like I belong here, I'm meant to be here, and I could really excel at this level. And then once that happened and I had success, I feel like I never looked back after that and just felt like I was one of the best players in the league.
Now, Jones will be using his confidence and selflessness to leave it all on the floor in the NCAA tournament.
It could be our last game. Like, you just don't want it to end with a loss, and you want to win it all. So it's just give it your all. And I don't feel like that's hard at all. Like, I'm gonna give it everything I got.
Well, 30 U.S. states have passed some sort of hands-free driving law, but Iowa is not one of them. However, state lawmakers are one step away from issuing fines to people texting and driving after the Senate advanced its bill this week. And now our Connor O'Neill tells us it's all up to the House.
It feels like we have our phones with us all the time nowadays, and that sometimes even includes when some of us are driving. But state lawmakers are trying to stop texting and driving from happening now, and they're one step closer to getting their hands-free driving bill signed into law. When that happens, they say it could help save thousands of lives.
I don't think there's a more significant bill this session that's going to save lives, and so that's why I think it's transformational.
Luke Hoffman, executive director of the Iowa Bike Coalition, played an instrumental role in pushing legislators this year to getting Iowa to pass a hands-free driving law.
I'm carrying with me the voices and stories of all the people that I know have been impacted so much more than I ever have been, and that I hope no one else has to be, for us to realize as a state that this is something that needs to change.
Earlier this week, the Iowa Senate advanced the hands-free driving bill on a near-unanimous vote, leaving it up to the House to advance it to the governor's desk for her signature. The bill bans using your phone while driving unless it's in a hands-free mode. That means drivers would be limited to a single touch or have to use verbal commands to turn that device on or off, or to complete a function like calling someone.
And we have enough members now that have really pushed leadership in a position to that we need to have this full discussion. And as I've talked about before, when the caucus is supportive of something, we at least want to have that discussion, and that's why it's on the calendar for today.
Critically important to make sure that people who are working on the side of the road are safe, bicyclists, other passengers. It is a common sense move to ensure safety on the roads, and I don't know why it's taken House Republicans so long to get here, but I'm hopeful we can get there today.
You'd only be able to fully use your phone while at a complete stop, like during a red light. Exceptions to the hands-free policy would be granted to public safety officials, healthcare workers responding to an emergency, and a person operating an implement of husbandry. Reporting from the State House, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
A suspect is in the hospital after being shot by Des Moines police tonight. That is according to the department. Police say they were called to an unknown problem in the Watrous South neighborhood, right by Johnston Christian Academy South. Des Moines police say officers saw a man assaulting a woman when they arrived. That's when they say the suspect ran before starting a physical altercation after he was caught. During that altercation, the officer shot the suspect. This is the third shooting this year in which a Des Moines police officer has fired at a suspect.
You have officers put into a position where they feel they need to defend themselves against a threat of serious injury or death, and they respond the way they're trained to respond.
We also spoke with a neighbor that heard the shots ring out. She says she's grateful her kids weren't at home at the time.
I have 2 kids, and I'm glad that they're out visiting family because they go over to the park right at this school and play at the park, and that's their transport right across the street would have been right into it. So I'm just thankful that they weren't here, and I'm hoping everybody's all right because no matter what happened, nobody deserves to be injured.
That's definitely true.
We're told the officer also was hurt in the altercation. The suspect is currently in the hospital, but the officer was treated for a head injury and released. The Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation is leading the investigation into this shooting. It is a developing story. We'll share more details as we learn them. The Trump administration is working to dismantle the Department of Education in an effort to eventually eliminate it. President Trump signed an executive order today directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to take steps to shrink the department. The move has been in the works for months. The administration saying the decision is the right thing to do to get education back to the states. Governor Kim Reynolds and several other GOP governors were at the signing today. Reynolds received praise from the president on her handling of Iowa's education system. Larissa Leone joins us with more on how this move by the president could affect schools across the nation and right here at home. Larissa.
Stephanie, today President Trump made good on a campaign promise he's had prior to his second term. While congressional approval is needed to completely dissolve the department, today's executive order is leaving educational leaders wondering what's next for the future of our country's educational system. President Trump is directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the department and return education authority to the states. Trump signed the order during a ceremony with children seated at desks alongside him as he fulfills his campaign promise.
We're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs.
The White House noting the department will not totally shut down.
When it comes to student loans and Pell Grants, those will still be run out of the Department of Education, but we don't need to be spending more than $3 trillion over the course of a few decades on a department that's clearly failing in its initial intention to educate our students.
The Iowa State Education Association shares why it believes the order could make matters more challenging for students who rely on additional support.
Iowa receives over $300 million a year on funding from the federal government to support Title I and the title programs and IDEA funding. And again, these are to support students who are our most vulnerable students.
We reached out to the Iowa Department of Education regarding the future of this funding, but have yet to hear back. The order calls for the uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits on which Americans rely, though it's unclear the exact programs included. Sources told ABC News the administration has been looking into how to move some of the key programs to other agencies. This move comes after the administration laid off 50% of the Department of Education staff, the president showing no signs of stopping even more pink slips from being handed out. ISEA says those working in public schools are scared about the future of funding.
When they're worried about what funding and whether their job's going to come back and who's going to support those students, they don't want to worry about that. They want to go to school every day and do their job like they do so wonderfully across the state.
Congressional approval is required to abolish a federal agency, and McMahon has acknowledged she would need Congress to carry out the president's vision to close the department. It would take 60 yes votes in the Senate to overcome the filibuster and dismantle the department that Congress created. Stephanie.
Larissa, thank you. And Governor Reynolds posted on X praising the president and his executive order. She said in part, quote, education decisions should be made by those who know students best, parents, teachers, and local communities. Iowa Democratic Party Chair Rita Hart also responding tonight. She said in part, quote, this executive order puts Iowa's rural schools and special programs at risk and creates an uncertain future for our teens who are hoping to attend college soon.
For the first time since 1971, the Drake Bulldogs are moving on to the round of 32. This was a vintage Drake performance, suffocating Missouri on defense while Bennett Sturtz was dicing it up on the other side. Sturtz led all scorers with 21 points. Mizzou did cut it to one late after Drake led by double digits, but the Dogs closed out the upset win for their first victory past a play-in game in 54 years. Defense was the difference late.
Yeah, I think we've done that to teams all year. Our defense kind of makes a floor shrink a little bit, and kind of mentally drains them, and makes it hard for them to get shots and takes them out of rhythm.
We're a bunch of dudes that like to play basketball. It's no different than everyone else. We do like to fight. I say we like to fight for 40 minutes. But yeah, just staying together as a team and staying close.
The dance continues for Drake. They'll play again on Saturday in Wichita.